Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about my division breakdown going 4-1 for the AFC West, my breakout player for the AFC West, and my MVP of that division. Let's kick it off. Coming in at 4th place will be the Oakland Raiders. Listen, Oakland, I'm not sold. You got Antonio Brown, so how are you going to throw the ball when Derek Carr's on his back? And don't give me Trent Brown, because that is going to be one of the worst contracts in the NFL after a couple games this year. You don't sign a guy after he does one good year in New England. This is kind of well known. Once they leave New England after they've had success in New England and nowhere else, you don't really sign them to big contracts. I have my doubts on that, and we will see, but I don't think that goes very well. Josh Jacobs, rookie running back, can't say much. I was meh on him. I didn't have him as my best running back. I didn't think he was the best running back. I thought David Montgomery was the best running back in the draft. I look at the defense. Farrell, he should be a good player for them. I don't know if he was where they should have taken him, but I know they tried to trade back. Overall, not bad to that pick. Jonathan Abram, I really like that pick. I think he's a thumper, and he's an improvement in that back end, in that secondary. But who else do they have to cover with their corners? Conley has not been what we thought he would be entering the NFL. Worley, I don't know. I don't know with him at all. Yeah, their linebacking crew. Vontaze Burfict, even though he has issues staying on the field, is a hell of a football player. He's a hell of a football player. He's fun to watch, but he'll do something stupid which will irritate you, and he'll get suspended. It's the Vontaze Burfict story. Special teams, I like John Townsend, and we don't know much about their kicking situation. I ultimately think they'll finish between 2-14. Yes, I can see them going 2-14 or 5-11. I don't think this is at all because of Derek Carr. I think it's because the O-line and the back end, the secondary is horrible. Horrible. Back end defense, not back end secondary. Secondary is the back end of the defense. Up next, the Denver Broncos, who I have finishing 3rd place. Now, listen, I can see the Broncos finishing last place instead of 3rd. But I'm going to give them the edge because I think they have a better defense. I'm going to take Von Miller and Bradley Chubb hitting the quarterback instead of hitting the quarterback, who the Raiders got. And really, they don't have a pass rusher that we know of, while the Broncos have 2 good ones. Here's the thing with the Broncos. Fans, don't overreact. I expect them to start off 2-0. I expect them to beat the Raiders, and I expect them to beat the Bears. Why do I expect them to beat the Bears? Plain and simple. Vic Fangio is going to fire that team up, and they're going to go out there, and they're going to play a damn good game, and they're going to go win that for their coach. But why don't I see the Broncos sustain that over the season? I don't really think this is that good of a team. I think this is a mediocre team that's going to be entering transition year. They got young talent, but we don't know if young talent can reach their potential or not. Their O-line will improve with the addition of Munchak as their O-line coach. That's a gimme. Offense lines always improve around him. The receiving core is interesting. Emmanuel Sanders will be coming off of an injury last year. Cortland Sutton looked really good. And they have a couple other nice young receivers entering that position that they can maybe take over a slot role or maybe opposite of Sutton in the future. The running backs, Philip Lindsay should have another good year. I expect to see him around 1,000 yards again. Quarterbacks, Joe Flacco should play every game no matter what the record is. Do not overreact, throw Locke in there. Save Locke for the rest of the year until your O-line has proven they can protect consistently and Locke knows the playbook. Now defensively, D-line, it's good. Adam Gostis, he's a decent D-end. Derek Wolfe is fun to watch. He's maybe one of the most underrated defensive players in the NFL. He does everything really well, and you can't complain too much about him. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb will provide a great pass rush for this defense. Losing Todd Davis, an inside backer, that is scary, yes, but it doesn't look like he'll be out too much of the regular season, maybe a game or two at most. Their secondary, Chris Harris Jr. getting older, that's of course a question mark, but I think he'll have a good year. Nothing to really worry about. Losing Roby, but getting Kevin Johnson, again, just swap of talents. They play the exact same way. Like I said in Houston, no real difference. Justin Simmons, I really like him. I'd expect to see Denver try to lock him up when his contract is done. If it is done after this year, I expect them to try and lock him up as soon as possible. Their kickers, Brandon McManus, good kicker, and I don't know who their punter is off the top of my head. Up next, number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, I think, will be battling for a wild card spot. And I'm sticking to this because I don't know of Tyreek Hill. I know he's not suspended right now, but new evidence can come forward, and that could lead to a suspension. With him on the field, I think this team makes the playoffs. Do I think they win the division? No. And I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But I do think they are a good team. Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks. He has a big benefit of having a great offensive line and Andy Reid calling plays for him. He also has Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce to throw the balls to. That's pretty good. Their line is led by Mitchell Schwartz, but a loss of their center to the Bills is key. That'll be very interesting to see how the Chiefs replace that position this year. Overall, the Chiefs should be good on offense. Running backs, Carlos Hyde, good addition. Should be able to play the position good. Maybe 700 yards this year from him. Now the defensive side of the ball. I don't know. Frank Clark is, of course, a good addition. He'll get after the quarterback. He'll leave them lay on their back. Their D-line's good. Let's put it like this. I have faith in their D-line. With what I don't have faith is their secondary. Fuller, I like, but they lost Steven Nelson to the Steelers, who was actually graded out as their best secondary member last year, which is a big loss if that is the case. I overall don't know with what the Chiefs do on the back end. Tyrann Mathieu, yes, he's a good addition. Yes, all he has to do is play better than Eric Berry, which wasn't that hard because Berry was a shell of his former self last year. Do I think the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl this year? No. Do I think they win the division this year? No. Can I see them making a run in the playoffs? Absolutely yes. I think Mahomes and Andy Reid's a dangerous combo that no one should take lightly. And now, time to talk about my division winners, Los Angeles Chargers, and yes, I was tempted to say San Diego Chargers right there. Why do I think the Chargers are going to win the division? Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen. That's a connection you'll hear a lot. Also, Joey Bosa, Desmond King. Is that not enough? Okay, fine. Derwin James as well. Throw him in there if that's not enough. Now, this Chargers team, it's Super Bowl or bust for Phillip Rivers. If they win the Super Bowl, I expect Rivers to ride off the sunset because I don't know how much longer Rivers has, and I'm right now looking at him as a year-to-year. I think they win the Super Bowl. I think he's done. But he's got to get to the Super Bowl first. Let's talk about how he can do that. Now, currently as this is recording, Melvin Gordon's yet to return to team camps because he's yet to get a new contract. Loss, yes. That big of a loss? No. They have Austin Eckler, and I hope I said his name right. I believe that's correct. And Justin Jackson to fill the void. They both did very well last year when he was injured. Their O-line, Russell Okung. I don't know his status. I saw he had a virus, and that's never good. I wish him the best of luck. If he is healthy, that's good. If he's hurt, now I know Okung has been iffy at times in his career, but he's done very good for the Chargers in recent years. That would be a big loss at the left tackle position. Other than that, no question on offense. Defensively, I don't really have questions about their defense. Their defense is great. Joey Bosa is a great pass rusher. Melvin Ingram's a great pass rusher. I like Tillery on the defensive line. I think that's a really good pickup by them. I love their secondary, Desmond King and Derwin James. Those two are nice young players that are going to emerge here sooner or later and be on everyone's radar. Their special teams, Chargers, you never know if their kicking situation, what to expect. But overall, I think the Chargers take first place of the division. Now, who will be the breakout player in this division? Last year was Patrick Mahomes, who had a tremendous breakout year to say the very least. I don't really feel like that's a quarterback. Everyone knows Phillip Rivers. Everyone knows Patrick Mahomes. Everyone knows Derek Carr. Everyone knows Joe Flacco. And I don't think Drew Lock plays at all this year. So let's take all the quarterbacks at that position. Now look at the rookies. None of them really scream, I'm going to come on the scene and dominate. I mean, running backs are likely to with Josh Jacobs, but I just don't see it. But there is one guy I do see coming on the scene. Courtland Sutton from the Denver Broncos. I expect a 1,000-yard year from him. I think this is the year that people look at him and start to see future number one receiver. And will he benefit from playing on the opposite side of Emmanuel Sanders? Yes, absolutely. Sanders deserves more attention than Sutton right now. But I expect Sutton to deserve more attention at the end of the year. Sutton proved last year that he was coming along. You could see in his routes, they were better. He was catching the ball better. He was following the ball better. He was doing everything better at the end of the year. I expect to see him have a breakout year for the Denver Broncos and have at least 70 catches with 1,000 yards. Now, who is my MVP of the AFC West in 2019? Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, he's been a great quarterback in the NFL for a long time, but he's never been the guy that everyone's worried about, the guy that's setting records and everything. Well, I think he is this year. I think you look at his top three receivers, Keenan Allen, Travis Benjamin, and Mike Williams. Williams produced a lot last year. He looked like a first-round pick last year. Keenan Allen's Keenan Allen. If he stays healthy, he's a great wide receiver in the NFL. Travis Benjamin, good slot, good return man, good player. But also, they're not going to have Melvin Gordon, which means Phillip Rivers is going to have some extra pressure to deal with. He's going to have to throw the ball a bit more than he did last year. With Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield, he'll be fine with that. Jackson, I don't know if he's as good receiving back as Gordon. I'm going to assume not, because Melvin Gordon is one of the best backs in the league. So I'm just going to probably safe to assume it's not. But here's another thing to keep in mind. The Chargers will get turnovers for their offense. You give Phillip Rivers a short field, he's going to score a lot of touchdowns. You score a lot of touchdowns, you win a lot of games. You're the quarterback of a team that's winning games, you're going to get MVP votes. It's plain and simple. I think Phillip Rivers is the best quarterback in this division right now. I think in a couple years, or just next year in general, it could be Patrick Mahomes. I think he has a lot of benefit from having Andy Reid. I think if you lose Andy Reid, he struggles a bit. I think Phillip Rivers has proven it doesn't matter who his calling plays, he's going to produce. And that's why I'm going to give the Chargers and Rivers the nod overall in this division, and I'm going to give Rivers the nod in the MVP discussion. So tell me what you think about the AFC West predictions I just did, and remember, stay tuned, because this weekend I am dropping AFC East predictions as well. Goodbye.